Hello everyone, welcome to this show. We have a very special guest, Dr. Tanmoy Bhowmik. Dr. Tanmoy Bhowmik is the Vice President and Head of Data Science and Machine Learning Engineering at Paytm. Dr. Tanmoy holds PhD in Electrical Engineering from University of Texas at Arlington with a focus on machine learning. He has authored many research papers and holds multiple patents to his name. He is also an active contributor to the academic and industrial AI communities, having supervised 40 plus research publications, organized workshops, and delivered keynote talks on AI for fintech forums. Welcome to the show, Mr. Tanmoy Bhowmik. Dr. Tanmoy, what exactly is artificial intelligence and why it is revolutionizing the world?
First of all, suppose when you are interacting with the machine and if the machine responds and then it sounds to us like that we are talking to human, right? Then we can call that machine as intelligent. That's what is again like the father of computer science, Alan Turing, has defined, right? That you are interacting with the machine and you cannot tell the difference between whether it is a machine or human. So then that particular machine qualifies as an artificial intelligence system. So you can talk about the time from 1930 to 1980 around. So till that time, AI was more rule-driven system, that you are asking it to calculate multiplication between very two big numbers, say 4287 into 5276, something like that. So what it is doing, it knows the rule of multiplication. It is like kind of repeated addition, and it's doing that thing at huge speed because of its compute power. Okay, but this is still rule driven. It was by 1990, I guess, those we started playing computer with chess and it could beat the grandmasters. But still, there also, if you see, it is again the rules of chess are known. Given one state, how many possible kind of move I can do from there, and like we can just do simulation through this like some a path of million moves, and through which it can remember, like, okay, in which path if it goes it will be rewarded, and the other path it will be penalized in the long run. Based on that, it memorizes the whole path basically of the game, and that's why it can win against a human, because human cannot just memorize all the possible path, okay, and compute in real time. Next, but those things are again, as I was saying, still rule driven. Then came this data driven intelligence, right? If I show you a picture of a dog or cat, I ask you, okay, how do you recognize it is dog and cat? You cannot give me the rule of that. Okay, it has 2 ears, 1 nose, 2 eyes, 4 legs, so this is a dog, or maybe some fur, it is a dog. No, it is like the shape of the face is like more kind of cone like compared to a cat. That's why it is a dog. No, I can give you another like a picture of some other dog which looks very similar to cat, but still you can kind of differentiate between a cat and dog. So you form some abstract representation in your mind about the images of dog and cat. Okay, so that pattern recognition, that is like data driven. Here I cannot logically explain. I cannot give you a rule how to differentiate between cat and dog. But you can form a representation based on like the data you have seen so far. Right? Human can do it with very less amount of data. That is a specialty. But now that thing we wanted to mimic in kind of machines. So where we kind of try to feed it millions of data points and learn from it. So that's the era of, I'll say, 1990 to around 2010 or 2015, where you see these things, this Netflix recommender system coming. It kind of sees all the movie that you have clicked or watched, and it also know people similar and dissimilar to you, what kind of movies they watched or not, and based on that it kind of able to recommend you like what movie you should watch next, right? It's kind of this massive data churning, and kind of they're finding some pattern out of that. Okay, what genre, what duration of movie maybe you would be watching basically based on your persona and people similar to you basically who Netflix already have seen in their platform. Same thing you can say about like again this image recognition, right? Like the convolution neural network differentiating between the images of cats and dogs. So there also it tries to learn about those pattern in its hidden layer of hidden layer of weights, basically the weights of the hidden layers. It tries to memorize those pattern. Okay, but that also still is domain specific. Basically, you feed data from different domain. From say for recommendation, you feed data about the product and the persona. For maybe image recognition, you feed the data of all the possible images of animals. Basically, again for each animal, you feed like say millions of samples so that it can differentiate. Basically, it can have this differentiating pattern kind of memorized in the weight of the neural network. Now comes after 2015, like from 16 or 17, when Ilya, like Hinton and Jan LeCun, all those kind of great minds started with an hypothesis that okay, what if we feed all the data that is available in the internet to a massive neural network, right? And with like parallel computing, where like the training can be done within maybe not like earlier it would have taken years, but there have been some advantages in computation where it can finish the computation within say months basically. So that's what being happening now, that a massive neural network learning from all the available data in internet. So it's like a compressed representation of all knowledge of human civilization that has been digitized so far. So this is AI where it is now. Okay. So rule driven, thereafter data driven but domain specific, but now it is all the data being memorized by a massive neural network somehow. Like how it is revolutionizing the world. If you think like I'd just say two things here, 2 points. One thing is democratization, right? Democratization means like smartphone, it has been democratized now. So this AI is also getting democratized now. You can just interact with it like you are interacting with some, like a student can interact with it like they're interacting with their tutor. You are asking a question on okay, tell me about like binomial theorem. Right? It gives you 5 or 6 different explanations, and you just pick the one which kind of sounds most logical to you, and maybe which kind of you can relate to which the better. Like different student will like different kind of explanation, right? So it's democratizing that thing. A farmer can actually ask about okay, what why my crop, like what is the problem with my crops. He can upload the image of the crop, maybe field, the leaf is turning yellow, and then it matches that leaf against like known all the crop diseases, and then tell you okay, maybe you have to use this pesticide basically. So this democratization can happen at scale now. Okay. And the second thing is productivity. Productivity means what sense? Like if you see like I get hundreds of mails in a day. Now I have to maybe say like today I need to say okay, I go like please give me the mail, show me the mail where there is a discussion going on this particular project, and I want to know the latest insight, and also based on that whatever people are replying, what is their opinion and what should I reply basically here. So it's forming that summary and helping me in writing the reply, and then maybe finally I can just spend 1 or 2 minutes to kind of form my reply basically there. Or just for technical people like a coding assistant, right? Any kind of problem solver, designing any campaign basically. Here I can just do this thing at least the first cut of the design, the first cut of the code I can just get in just one shot, and thereafter if I know that domain I can just maybe work on top of it. So this assistant thing is already available, an assistant which can kind of assist you in just one click basically, and thereafter you can write layers on top of it basically. So first one is this democratization, second is assistant in our productivity.
Dr. Tanmoy, since AI can learn and solve problems, does it impact human creativity?
How this artificial intelligence is different than human intelligence, okay? So if you think about like first of all, like the very first thing I told, like how AI has been trained, right? It's a compressed representation of our civilization, which has been digitized in internet. Let's put as simple as it is, right? So all the knowledge that is there in internet, either in the form of audio, video, text, whatever, it's been compressed in that weights of that massive neural network. So whatever you ask about the world that we know already, it can give you an satisfactory answer. And if you can verify if you already have some knowledge about the topic. So think about Tagore writing a poem that like just I'm quoting Bengali, Chitto jetha bhoy shunno uchcho deshi jetha shir, where my mind is fearless and my head is held high. In the time when British was ruling India, so people have lost their self-confidence at that time. So he has created something, this line he has created, which resonates with the feeling of the masses, that we have to gain back our confidence. So this thing is like created out of nothing basically. Now you feed all those Tagore poem to that AI and it can just write something very similar. But think about that situation when there was like in this situation just creating that thing. A.R. Rahman creating a music, he's creating the melody out of his emotion. He's not trying to create the best statistically matching notes basically, which sounds pleasant to hear. No, that music, that melody he's creating, is coming from that emotion. He's trying to right. It is not trying to optimize the notes basically. Okay, so AI would kind of again try to mimic it, right? But it cannot create this thing out of nothing. So this creativity out of nothing, that is also something I guess like very very special thing about human intelligence. Second thing is we ask why and what if, right? And like we imagine things that don't exist, and from there from there the innovation comes, and thereafter this creativity out of nothing. These things are I don't think AI the way that it is trained now can do this. Right now I'll say AI is missing those core components of human intelligence. Mostly I'll say because of like it is missing that emotional alcohol. We feel basically, and from our feeling our all expression comes. It doesn't feel.
How can AI benefits our country and society at large?
Majorly there are three ways basically it can benefit us. The first thing is the outreach. Think a student in some rural area of Jharkhand, brilliant guy, but maybe struggling to understand, okay, why something divided by 0 is undefined. Now his teacher may not be there that well equipped to answer that, because they have also kind of gone through this traditional method. They are not asking these questions. This guy is having this question. But these things have been answered by so many brilliant minds in so many different ways. So he use ChatGPT or maybe in Llama model, open source model, right? And just ask it, and he will get maybe 4 or 5 different answers. And because he is curious, he can make sense out of like maybe 2 or 3 explanation out of those 5 will make sense to him. So it's like that outreach, right? That guy having a smartphone or computer, at least even like a low configured computer can also like serve his purpose basically. The doctors mostly, right? They are concentrated in the cities, good doctors, the super specialist doctors. Now some guy at the village may be thinking like, okay, he got fever, but thinking, okay, it is a fever, it will go away. But maybe this, when he kind of ask that there is you just think about there is an AI assistant, like medically specialist kind of AI assistant which has been trained on all the medical data, right? And or fine-tuned on the medical data. He's telling all his symptoms to the AI assistant. No, I am also getting some boils on my thing, and then also it is like coming at a particular time of the day. So maybe there are some other diagnosis. So it is suggesting that okay, no, you need to see a super specialist. It's not a normal fever, right? And you get this diagnosis done before you go there, so that you don't waste time in city basically. So those diagnoses he can done. He can upload them, and it can suggest at least, okay, there is a 90% chance that it is something serious, you should visit immediately. So that outreach, right, this is the first thing I will say, that it can like anybody having a smartphone or even a like low budget computer can have access to at least this level of intelligence. Second thing, you think about the language, like in India, right, multilingual country, language barrier. But maybe I have not learned English, but I am good in math, and I can just upload my content in Bengali. Then you just content, and I have to also keep my transcription. Then you can transcribe it to any language. Basically, the language translation is like so easy now. And then this video can be accessed by anyone in the country in their dialect, basically. And then the third thing is just think about the scale, right? Maybe I am a very good tutor, but I cannot teach millions of students now, right? And think about you are a student, you are asking about maybe one math concept, he is asking about some physics concept, someone else is asking about, okay, how photosynthesis work, right? So I cannot just serve all of you in parallel. But this AI assistant, having knowledge about, like, again, all the knowledge compressed in, all the science knowledge maybe say compressed in it, or just whatever has been known so far, right, being compressed in it. So millions of students can ask it different question at the same time and get their answers served. And also like multiple kind of explanation, they can choose which explanation they like. Okay, so the scale, AI being deployed at scale for the masses of India. So these are the three aspects I would say. First of all, the outreach. Then second is like this language barrier, going beyond the language barrier. And third is like being available at scale, at real time for the masses. So this is how it can, like, we should kind of leverage it, at least Indian people.
What's your message for India's youth on learning and adopting AI during and after their graduation?
Adopting AI, I don't think it is going to be a game changer for India, because it's like, think about smartphone. Our parents, elderly parents, a kid, everybody knows how to use smartphone. AI adoption will become like that. In your smartphone, you will have like, again, the AI would be available in even say your like low compute, low memory smartphone also, like, because the models are getting scaled down. So AI would be kind of democratized. So adoption of AI, I think it will naturally happen. What we should do is just think of, like, why should we just kind of use the model being developed in Western countries or say China DeepSeek model like that? We should build it. We should build our AI for our own purpose. Like there will be like, so this kind of big model has been built on all the knowledge is available in the world, fine. But you want to suppose build an application for a farmer, like a farmer uploads the image of his crop and you just tell him in real time that, okay, you have, like, if there are some disease in your like crops and you should use this pesticide and all. You just think about an assistant for Indian students, AI assistant for Indian students, right? The way that Indian students learn are very different from how Western students learn. So that AI assistant should be learned on Indian texts, on Indian histories. Like our way of like pedagogy is totally different from like Western or other countries. So you should learn in this context basically. Okay, so you should not only just maybe take their model, fine tune, because those such a large model, fine tuning them or maybe just reinforcing them on us, this is not a server purpose. Why not we build our own model for our custom purposes, right? And if you look at the skills there, I can confidently say any skill that you see like what with which LLM has been built, 90% of them are not beyond high school mathematics. There are three fundamental skills that we need to acquire. First of all, calculus that we learn in school. So this is again high school mathematics, and not even integral calculus, just derivatives, right? But you should know this chain rule of derivatives. But ultimately, the neural network, how it is learning, this back propagation that we're talking about, right? Second thing is linear algebra. It is just matrix multiplication, like from one layer to another layer. We propagate the learning basically. So it's just multiplication of weights from one layer to another layer, ultimately kind of generating those predictions for us. So linear algebra. And then the third thing is basic probability. Ultimately, what what this LLMs are generating. It's generating the highest it is giving you the token with like highest probability. Whenever you are asking it a question, it is like kind of generating a path of response tokens having the highest probability. Maybe you tweak that, okay, you generated me the maybe you be little creative. I tweak that, okay, the temperature of the model that, okay, you maybe generate the best next probable response. It can do it. Ultimately, it is like kind of navigating over the probability distribution of tokens. So these three things: calculus, linear algebra, and basic knowledge of statistics in terms of probability, random variable, at most conditional probability. So that would enable you to make your own models. So, but that that understanding, that or like that will not come from this kind of plug and play or simple adaptation. That will just come from realizing how the neural network actually is learning. And these three concepts, if you are very much, if you familiarize yourself, again, those are not beyond high school mathematics, then we can build our own foundation models for our own custom purpose. And that would be a kind of, I'll say, like, make in India AI.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bhowmik, for joining us today on this special Tech Talks. Thank you, viewers, for watching this show. Please subscribe and follow us for more Tech Talk on this channel. Namaste. Jai Hind.